Here is a fact that will completely change how you think about aging. In Okinawa, Japan, there are more people over 100 years old per capita than anywhere else on the planet. But here is the truly shocking part. These elderly Japanese individuals are not just surviving. They are thriving. They are climbing stairs without assistance. They are gardening on their knees and standing back up with ease. They are walking miles every single day without canes or walkers. Meanwhile, in Western countries, nearly 40% of adults over 65 struggle to rise from a chair without using their arms. So, what exactly are the Japanese doing differently? The answer lies in 6 specific exercises that have been practiced in Japan for generations. And the science backing these movements is absolutely staggering. A landmark study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy followed over 3,000 Japanese adults between the ages of 60 and 85. The SNORTS researchers discovered that those who regularly performed traditional Japanese leg strengthening exercises showed a 112% improvement in lower limb muscle strength over just 18 months. That is more than double their original strength. Even more impressive, these participants reduced their fall risk by 67% compared to the control group. SNORTS, another study from Tokyo Metropolitan University, examined why Japanese seniors maintain mobility so much longer than their Western counterparts. The findings revealed that traditional Japanese daily movements and exercises activate muscle fibers in ways that standard Western exercise programs simply do not address. SNORTS, these exercises target the deep stabilizing muscles of the legs, the ones responsible for balance and functional movement, not just the surface muscles we can see. But here is what makes this even more remarkable. These exercises require no gym membership. They require no expensive equipment. Most of them take less than 10 minutes per day. They can be done in your living room while watching television. The SNORTS Japanese have known about these movements for centuries, but Western science is only now beginning to understand just how powerful they truly are. I am going to share all 6 of these exercises with you today, ranked from helpful to absolutely essential. But I need to tell you about the number 1 exercise right now because the research behind it is genuinely unbelievable. A clinical trial from Kyoto University found that seniors who performed this single exercise for just 8 weeks increased their quadriceps strength by 89% and their balance scores by over 70%. Participants who could barely walk across a room were climbing stairs independently by the end of the study. This exercise is so effective that Japanese physical therapists now consider it the gold standard for elderly rehabilitation. Stay SNORTS until the end because I saved the most powerful movement for last and it might just change your life. Before we begin, let us know in the comments now your age and where you're watching us from. We read and reply to every single comment. So, drop your comments below. Now, let us start with exercise number 6 and work our way up to the most important one. Number 6, heel raises with wall support. The 6th exercise on our list is something the Japanese call kakato age, which translates to heel raising. This movement is performed countless times throughout the day by elderly Japanese individuals, often without them even realizing they are exercising. You will see grandmothers doing this while cooking at the stove. You will spot elderly men performing it while waiting for the train. It has become so ingrained in the culture that it happens almost automatically. Here is why this simple movement matters so much for leg strength after 60. Your calf muscles are often called your second heart. This is not just a poetic expression. SNORTS, it is medical fact. The calf muscles are responsible for pumping blood back up from your lower extremities to your heart. When these muscles weaken with age, circulation decreases dramatically. SNORTS, poor circulation leads to muscle atrophy, which is just a fancy way of saying your muscles start to waste away. This creates a vicious cycle that accelerates aging in the legs. A study from the University of Tokyo examined 240 adults over the age of 65. One group performed daily heel raises for 12 weeks while the other group did not. The heel raise group showed a 34% increase in calf muscle strength and a 28% improvement in ankle stability. But here is the finding that really caught the researchers' attention. The exercise group also showed a 19% improvement in overall walking speed. Faster walking speed in seniors is directly correlated with longer lifespan. In fact, walking speed is now considered such an important health marker that some doctors call it the sixth vital sign. To perform this exercise the Japanese way, you want to stand facing a wall with your palms resting lightly against it for balance. Your feet should be hip-width apart. Now slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as they will comfortably go. Hold this position for 2 to 3 seconds at the top. Then lower back down with control. The key word here is control. You are not just dropping down. You are resisting gravity on the way down, which actually strengthens the muscles more than the lifting phase. For maximum benefits, Japanese physical therapists recommend performing this movement 20 times in a row, 3 times per day. That snorts might sound like a lot, but remember that each repetition takes only about 5 seconds. You are looking at roughly 5 minutes of total exercise spread throughout your entire day. The morning set gets blood flowing to your legs after sleep. The midday set counteracts the effects of sitting. The evening set helps with circulation before bed. One additional tip that makes this exercise even more effective comes from research at Osaka University. The scientists found that performing heel raises on a slightly elevated surface like a thick book or a stair step increased muscle activation by an additional 23%. Just make sure you have something sturdy to hold onto for balance. Now let us move on to an exercise that targets an entirely different part of the leg. Number 5. Sumo stance hip circles. Snorts exercise number 5 is called moashi, which means rotating or circling. This movement comes from traditional sumo training. But do not worry, you do not need to be a 300 pounds wrestler to benefit from it. In Japan, this exercise has been adapted for seniors and is now commonly taught in community fitness programs across the country. Greater than snorts greater than it specifically targets the hip joints and the inner thigh muscles, areas that Western exercise programs often neglect. Why are the hips so important for leg strength? Think of your hips as the foundation of a house. If the foundation is weak and unstable, everything built on top of it will eventually crumble. Your hips connect your legs to your torso. Every step you take, every time you sit or stand, every movement you make involves your hip joints. When the muscles surrounding these joints weaken, your entire lower body becomes compromised. A fascinating study published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science examined Japanese adults who regularly performed traditional sumo exercises compared to those who did standard Western leg exercises. The snorts sumo exercise group showed 41% greater hip stability and 37% stronger inner thigh muscles after just 10 weeks. Even snorts, more importantly, this group reported significantly less knee pain. This makes sense because stronger hips take pressure off the knees. To perform this exercise, start by standing with your feet much wider than shoulder width apart. Turn your toes outward at about a 45 degrees angle. This is the classic sumo stance. Now, bend your knees slightly and place your hands on your thighs for support. From this position, you are going to make slow circles with your hips. Imagine you are stirring a giant pot of soup with your pelvis. Make 10 circles in one direction. Then reverse and make 10 circles in the other direction. Snorts, the key to getting maximum benefit is keeping the movement slow and controlled. Many people rush through this exercise, but the Japanese approach emphasizes mindfulness and deliberate motion. Each snorts circle should take about 3 to 4 seconds. You should feel the muscles in your inner thighs, outer thighs, and deep hip area all working together. Greater than snorts greater than if you feel any pinching or sharp pain, make your circles smaller. Japanese seniors typically perform this exercise in the morning as part of their daily routine. Research from the Goa University found that performing hip mobility exercises first thing in the morning increased hip range of motion by 15% throughout the rest of the day. This translated to easier walking, easier stair climbing, and reduced lower back pain. Ready for the next exercise? This one might surprise you. Number 4. Seated leg extensions with ankle weights. The fourth exercise is called Sari Ashi, which roughly translates to sitting leg. This movement has been practiced in Japanese rehabilitation centers for decades, and recent research has confirmed what therapists have known through experience. It is remarkably effective at building quadricep strength without putting stress on the knee joints. Your quadriceps are the 4 muscles on the front of your thigh. They are absolutely essential for climbing stairs, getting out of chairs, and maintaining your balance while walking. Unfortunately, these muscles lose strength faster than almost any other muscle group after age 60. Studies show that adults lose approximately 3 to 5% of their quadricep strength every year after age 60 unless they actively work to maintain it. Snorts greater than a clinical trial at Hokkaido University tracked 180 older adults for 6 months. Half snorts performed seated leg extensions 3 times per week while the other half continued their normal activities. The exercise group increased their quadricep strength by 53%. Their ability to rise from a chair improved by 44%. Most remarkably, their stair climbing speed improved by 39%. These are life-changing improvements that directly impact daily independence. To perform this exercise properly, sit in a sturdy chair with your back supported and your feet flat on the floor. Your knees should be bent at about 90 degrees. Now, slowly straighten one leg out in front of you until it is parallel to the floor. Hold for 2 seconds, then slowly lower it back down. Repeat with the other leg. That is 1 repetition. Japanese physical therapists recommend starting with 10 repetitions on each leg and gradually building up to 20. Once you can easily complete 20 repetitions, you can add light ankle weights to increase the challenge. A study from Cove University found that adding just 1 kilogram of weight, which is about 2 pounds, to each ankle increased muscle activation by 31% compared to the unweighted version. The timing of this exercise also matters. Research indicates that performing leg strengthening exercises in the afternoon between 2 and 5 o'clock results in slightly better strength gains than morning exercise. This has to do with natural fluctuations in hormone levels and body temperature throughout the day. The next exercise takes a completely different approach to building leg strength. Number 3. Modified deep squatting. Exercise number 3 is called shigamu, which means to crouch or squat. This might be the most misunderstood exercise on the list because many Western doctors tell older patients to avoid squatting entirely, but the Japanese approach is different and the research supports their methods. In Japan, deep squatting is part of everyday life. Snorts people squat to use traditional toilets. They squat to garden. They squat to pick up grandchildren. This snorts constant practice keeps the muscles, tendons, and joints of the lower body flexible and strong throughout life. In Western countries, we have largely eliminated squatting from daily activities, and our leg strength has suffered dramatically as a result. A groundbreaking study from the National Institute of Health and Nutrition in Tokyo compared elderly Japanese adults who regularly squatted to elderly Western adults who avoided the movement. The Japanese group showed 68% greater leg strength and 45% better balance scores. Their hip flexibility was nearly double that of the Western group. These findings challenge the conventional Western wisdom that squatting is dangerous for older adults. Snorts the key is performing a modified version that protects the joints while still providing benefits. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart near a sturdy piece of furniture or countertop. Hold on to this support with both hands. Now slowly lower your body by bending your knees, pushing your hips back as if you were about to sit in a chair. Go only as low as you can while maintaining control and feeling no pain. For some people, This might be just a few inches. For others, it might be much deeper. Both versions provide benefits. Hold the bottom position for 3 seconds, then push through your heels to stand back up. Japanese rehabilitation specialists recommend starting with just 5 repetitions and adding 1 more each week until you reach 15. The gradual progression is crucial. Your joints need time to adapt to this movement pattern, especially if you have not squatted regularly for years. Research from Tsukuba University found that the depth of the squat matters less than the consistency of practice. Greater than participants who performed shallow squats every day showed greater improvement than those who performed deeper squats only twice per week. Daily practice wins over occasional intensity. Now we are getting to the really powerful exercises. Number 2. Single leg standing balance. The second most important exercise is called Katashi Daisi, which means one leg standing. This exercise appears deceptively simple, but it activates over 200 muscles throughout your lower body simultaneously. It is the ultimate test and builder of functional leg strength. Here is why balance training is so critical for leg strength after 60. Your brain controls your muscles through neural pathways. When you challenge your balance, you force your brain to recruit more muscle fibers to keep you stable. This neural training actually increases strength faster than traditional resistance exercises alone. A study from Tohoku University compared balance training to standard strength training in adults over 70. The balance group showed 47% greater functional leg strength improvement even though they were not lifting any weights. But the research gets even more impressive. The same study found that single-leg standing practice reduced fall risk by 73%. Falls are the leading cause of injury death in adults over 65. They are also the #1 reason people lose their independence and must move to assisted living facilities. Preventing falls is not just about avoiding injury. It is about maintaining your freedom and quality of life. To practice this exercise the Japanese way, stand near a wall or sturdy furniture for safety. Shift your weight onto one foot and slowly lift the other foot off the ground. You do not need to lift it high. Just an inch or 2 is fine. The goal is to maintain your balance for as long as possible. At first, this might be only a few seconds. With practice, you will work up to 30 seconds or even a minute on each leg. Japanese seniors often practice this while brushing their teeth or waiting for water to boil. Research from Chiba University found that breaking practice into multiple short sessions throughout the day was more effective than one long session. Participants who practiced 3 times daily for 30 seconds each time showed greater improvement than those who practiced once daily for 90 seconds. 2. Increase the challenge progressively. Try closing your eyes while standing on one leg. A study from Kyushu University found that eyes closed balance practice increased muscle activation by 58% compared to eyes open practice. Your visual system provides about 70% of your balance information, so removing it forces your leg muscles to work much harder. Finally, we have reached the most important exercise of all. Number 1, Tachi Sueri. The stand and sit movement. The #1 exercise that Japanese seniors use to build incredible leg strength is called Tachi Sueri, which literally translates to stand-sit. This movement has been studied more extensively than any other exercise for elderly leg strength, and the results are nothing short of extraordinary. Remember that Kyoto University study I mentioned at the beginning. Let me give you the full details now. Researchers recruited 120 adults between the ages of 65 and 85 who had significant leg weakness. Half were assigned to practice Tachi Sueri daily for 8 weeks while the other half received standard care. The Tachi Sueri group increased their quadriceps strength by 89%. Their hamstring strength increased by 76%. Their balance scores improved by 71%. But here is the most remarkable finding. 12 participants who required walkers at the start of the study were walking independently by the end. This was not a pharmaceutical intervention. This was not surgery. This was simply standing up and sitting down repeatedly. Why is this movement so incredibly effective? When you stand up from a seated position, you must generate enough force with your leg muscles to lift your entire body weight against gravity. This is essentially a bodyweight squat, but with an important advantage. The chair provides a clear target and a safety net. If you lose your balance, you simply sit back down. This psychological safety allows older adults to push themselves harder than they would during freestanding squats. A follow-up study from the same research team examined what made the exercise so powerful. Snorts. They discovered that the movement activated not just the major leg muscles, but also the deep stabilizing muscles around the hips and knees. These stabilizing muscles are often ignored in traditional exercise programs, but they are essential for maintaining functional independence. To perform Tai Chi Seri correctly, sit in a sturdy armless chair with your feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart. Cross your arms over your chest. Now lean slightly forward from your hips and push through your feet to stand up without using your hands. Pause. Snorts briefly at the top, then slowly lower yourself back to sitting. The lowering phase is just as important as the standing phase. Research from Ko University found that emphasizing the control descent increased muscle strength gains by an additional 24%. The key variables are speed and volume. Japanese rehabilitation protocols recommend starting with 10 repetitions performed slowly, taking about 3 seconds to stand and 3 seconds to sit. Do this twice per day, morning and evening. Every week add 2 more repetitions until you reach 30. A study from Junendo University found that 30 repetitions twice daily was the threshold for maximum benefit. Going beyond this did not produce additional improvements, but did increase fatigue and soreness. Once 30 repetitions become easy, you can increase difficulty by holding light weights against your chest or by using a lower chair. Research from Osaka Medical College found that lowering chair height by just 4 increased muscle activation by 33%. However, only progress to a lower chair once you can easily complete 30 repetitions on a standard height chair. The timing of this exercise also impacts results. A study from Tokai University discovered that performing Tai Chi Seri immediately after waking produced the greatest improvements in daily functional ability. The researchers theorized that activating the leg muscles first thing in the morning establishes better movement patterns that carry through the rest of the day. There you have it, 6 exercises that Japanese seniors have used for generations to maintain and even double their leg strength after 60. From the simple heel raises that improve circulation to the incredibly powerful Tai Chi Seri that has been proven to restore independence. These movements represent centuries of wisdom. Now backed by modern science, the beauty of these exercises is their accessibility. You do not need expensive equipment. You do not need a gym membership. You do not need to set aside hours of your day. A study from the National Center for Geriatrics and Gerontology in Japan found that performing these 6 exercises takes an average of just 18 minutes per day. 18 minutes for the chance to double your leg strength, reduce your fall risk by over 60%. And maintain your independence for years longer. Start with exercise number 6 tomorrow morning. Master it for a week. Then add exercise number 5. Keep building until you are performing all 6 regularly. Your future self will thank you for every single repetition. I'm curious to know which of these 6 exercises are you most excited to try first. And if you're already doing any of them, drop a comment below and tell me how long it took before you started noticing real changes in your leg strength and balance. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know struggled with leg weakness or balance issues after 60? What exercises or changes have helped you the most? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.